Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful program. Morning update to everyone that watches and follows JCTV Africa. We hope every one of you can hear us loud and clearly as we continue to brace you with up on what is happening. Right. My name is Jethro. I am the founder and CEO of JCTV Africa, and I give you all the information on what is happening. Today, we are talking about the breaking news or the developing story of what is happening in Rwanda. Very, very, very crucial to talk about what is happening around Africa. This is very crucial because as I'm speaking to you right now, there is an extraordinary summit that is happening in Harare. Leaders of SADC are coming to do that extraordinary summit so that they can resolve the crisis that is in DRC. And before I go into the story today, part of the show today, we are going to be looking at the headlines of what is happening, the developing stories that we've been following or tracking. One of the developing story is about Prophet Walter Magaya. His channel has been removed on DStv. His channel has been removed on DStv. This is what is happening. This is what is happening right now. You can see, dear viewer, please note that here the TV is closing on the 31st of January. Yeah, it is because of what is happening with the UNISA and the scandal that he might have bought the doctorate, or this could be a fake doctorate. Some people were arguing that maybe he was scammed also. There were people who conferred him with this doctorate. You'd never know. But that is the scenario that we have there, whereby because DStv probably doesn't want to be involved in that. And DStv is kind of that kind of setup. If you look at the history of DStv, they did the same to Java when he had a scandal with Lady Zamar. And they also did the same with Tola Smo when he had a scandal with a lady called Lerato. And they removed all his reality shows and everything in less than 24 hours. That's how DStv act. So this is what is happening to Prophet Walter Magaya. And in one of my posts, I've said, probably this wouldn't be, he wouldn't be having this egg in his face. But anyway, that's part of life. And it's part of exposure of other things that had been hidden for years, because he has got some people that are protecting him. Now, moving on to the story of the day, which is making the headline of what you are watching now, what is happening in Rwanda. I want to give you, or maybe take you on a history tour on what is happening in Rwanda. Some of you are aware of the genocide that happened in 1994. I've actually read and studied the story of Rwanda quite extensively. And I encourage you, if you are a reader like me, you should go and check out the book that was written by Immaculée Ilibagiza that you're seeing on the screen, called Left to Tell. It tells you how harrowing that days, 100 days, where people were butchered by the Interahamwe in Rwanda. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this story is to just give you a background of where this story of FDLR, the FDLR is a group that was formed by the Hutus, who then left Rwanda after Paul Kagame came in, coming from Uganda to save Rwanda from the genocide that was happening. So when Paul Kagame came, and they then had to save their fellow Tutsis who had now been killed, and try to save Rwanda. These leaders of Hutu, who were called the Interahamwe, if you read that in that book, you'll find that the word Interahamwe, it's a word that is in Kinyarwanda, which means that fighting together. So the Interahamwe group consisted of these people that are now leading the FDLR. And the FDLR is what is in the Eastern Congo. And this FDLR, some of the leaders have been engrafted into the DRC military. And they are being helped by the military of DRC, which is very, very unfortunate. And that is what causes Paul Kagame to be angry. And how has Paul Kagame reacted to this scenario? Paul Kagame has ordered most of the troops to return to the capital. This is the statement that was put out by the Prime Minister, that we are now, all the troops must return. And this is a preparation for war. This is done to prepare for war. And you can't, you need to understand where Rwanda or where Paul Kagame is coming from. Let me just read you the statement here, what it says. It says there in the communique, let me just zoom in here. It says that in the recent developments and the interest of preserving national stability, I'm issuing an urgent directive for the immediate redeployment of all military personnel stationed in border towns effectively immediately. All units must withdraw and regroup in the capital to secure governmental institutions and critical infrastructure. The decision has been made to ensure the protection of the nation's leadership, key administrative functions, and vital state assets. Your swift and coordinated action is crucial in maintaining integrity of our government and upholding national security during this critical time. Right? Commanders are instructed to organize an orderly withdrawal, ensuring all personnel and equipment are accounted for and transported securely. Further directives regarding assignments and operational strategy with the capital will be communicated upon arrival. I trust your discipline, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to the nation. Your duty at this moment is of the utmost importance, as I expect full compliance with this directive to ensure safety and continuity of our government. That is the statement there by the lead. It is written by the, let me just say, on behalf of His Excellency the Republic of Rwanda, Paul Kagame. That is the Prime Minister Eduardo Ngirente. Eduardo Ngirente, that is the Prime Minister there. And that is a preparation for war, really. Now, what is incensing or what is making Paul Kagame to act this way? It is because of the history that is there. Because the people that are there in Eastern Congo, the Interahamwe, the FDLR, these people are rebels who want to, they are saying, FDLR means actually that they are fighting for the liberation of Rwanda. In other words, they are saying the people that are at the helm, which is Paul Kagame, who is of Tutsi origin, that they need to remove him. That's why they are fighting there in Eastern Congo. They want to liberate Rwanda. And in so doing, they are fighting the Banyamulenge, the people that are in Eastern Congo, who are Rwanda, they speak Rwanda, Kinyarwanda. Now, majority of these people, they are Tutsis origin. If you remember Laurent Kunda, he was of Tutsi origin, but he's a Congolese. So now the government of DRC has to resolve this issue, and unanimously, the former presidents of South Africa agree that this is what is happening. They agree that the issue that is happening in DRC needs the government of DRC to act upon it and resolve it, right? And I want you to go and read this book that I've put on the screen, Immaculée Ilibagiza. It's a book called Left to Tell. Go and read it or go and check out the documentary on YouTube. It's there when she tells the story, how she survived inside the bathroom for 90 days it was a Roman Catholic father who kept them in his house. He was of Hutu, but he kept Tutsis, 9 women crammed in a toilet for 90 days. Very, very, very touching biography of Immaculée Ilibagiza. So now, this is what is happening. Rwanda is preparing because they feel that South Africa and other forces inside SADC, if they help the FDLR, what does the FDLR mean? It means that Democratic Forces of the Liberation of Rwanda. These are the people who caused the genocide of 1994. These are the people who are unapologetic about killing 800,000 people. These are the people that are hell-bent to see the back of Paul Kagame and them taking over. And I want you to see it from Paul Kagame's perspective, that is his perspective. When he sees South Africa seems to be supporting the FDLR and supporting Tshisekedi to fight the people of Banyamulenge, he feels that these people are not doing justice. What they need to do is to recognize the citizens who are now calling themselves M23 because of the history that they had. And that history cannot be just wished away. These people need to be recognized as citizens and be allowed to vote like other citizens. And this is the inheritance of Mobutu Sese Seko. I want you to listen to what the former president of South Africa, Mr. Thabo Mbeki, said about this group or this crisis that is happening and how they feel about the M23. Because the M23, the formation of the M23 is a clear result of the negligence by the government of DRC. Let us listen to former President Thabo Mbeki speaking.
Not the Great Lakes, to the Eastern Congo, is that there's a problem in the Congo which has not been resolved up to today. I'm talking about the DRC. We're back to that NDR I was talking about. As you know, part of the population in the Eastern Congo is Rwanda speaking, Banyamulenge. Part of the problem in the Congo is that from the days of Mobutu, they refused to recognize that the Banyamulenge are Congolese.
Yes.
They might be Rwanda speaking, but these are Congolese. And it's a responsibility of any government in Kinshasa to look after this section of the Congolese population like any other. But you remember what happened during the Mobutu years. Mobutu took the position that these are foreigners.
Imagine.
It's like the South Africans here saying, I mean, they're Tswana-speaking people here in the Northwest. And suddenly the rest of the country says, those are not South Africans, they must go to Botswana.
Mm. Or to say the Venda people must.
So what happened in the Congo case, that's how you had the Mai Mai emerge in the Eastern Congo. The Mai Mai were specifically targeting the Banyamulenge to drive them out of the Congo into Rwanda. But I'm saying it's a responsibility of the central government in the Congo to look after this population, which is Congolese. It's not Rwandan. It's Congolese. It's Rwandan speaking. That's the first problem. The second problem is that the administrative footprint of the government in Kinshasa does not reach the East.
Yeah.
So you find a part that is part of the country which has got a very light experience of being governed by the government in Kinshasa. The country is very big.
Yeah, very big.
So you have a weak government, weak imprint of the government on the East. It means other forces emerge and take over.
Yeah.
You see the M23.
And this is what incenses Paul Kagame, because Paul Kagame views that the South African government is well aware of this from the time of Nelson Mandela. He spoke at length about this, at the late Nelson Mandela. He spoke at length about this. So they are they are surprised that what is happening in South Africa. Why is South Africa helping Tshisekedi to help drive out the people who are bona fide citizens of DRC? And that to Paul Kagame is a declaration of war, to say you are neglecting to call to order your fellow member of SADC, who is Felix Tshisekedi, to bring him to order, to say, look, you need to recognize these people and give them citizenship and allow them to be part of the DRC. But you are choosing to drive them out and asking for a reinforcement so that you can drive these people out and make them stateless. You understand? It is uncalled for. And that is the continual problem of war and instability in DRC. I grew up when I was in grade 7, we're hearing that there is war in DRC. Up to now, there is still instability. And I spoke to you yesterday that the endowment of resources, which is in Africa, the countries that have got resources are always in perpetual conflict. And it is only caused by this confusion. I think it is deliberate to my to what I am seeing, because you can't be telling me that these leaders are not aware of the problem in DRC and are not aware there is a method in the madness. There is a method in the madness. Let us finish what President Thabo Mbeki is saying here to the leaders in DRC.
You can't avoid the phenomenon of the M23 as the government of the Congo unless you say we, the Congolese government, will protect the Banyamulenge because these are Congolese. If you don't say that, allowing other people to do as they wish towards the Banyamulenge, then M23 will continue to exist.
And you see what is happening. The government of DRC is supposed to be protecting the M23 and recognize them and kick out the FDLR. The FDLR must be kicked out. And these people must be out because these are killers. These are people who are supposed to be tried. These are genocidal people. These are the people who killed 800,000 Tutsis in 1994. And by the government of DRC recognizing them and giving them citizenship and allowing them to fight, or these people being given. That's the question that was asked the Minister of International Relations last night by Clement Manyatela on SABC, that are you in support of the FDLR? And he stammered. He could not answer the question directly because that is a very, very retrogressive way to say 1994, 800,000 people died at the hands of these people that are calling themselves the FDLR, the Interahamwe. And you are allowing them to be given reinforcement by SADC. And I think SADC needs to draw the line and tell Tshisekedi in the face that, look, you need to recognize these people and stop this nonsense. Because this confusion, this continuing confusion is deliberate, and we can say there is a method in the madness about what is happening. Let us finish what Thabo Mbeki is saying as we conclude this reaction.
They will get arms to defend themselves. So it's the same, is that problem in the Kivus of that weak imprint of the government, and then goes up to the Ituri and then those areas. We discussed that with President Joseph Kabila. It's your responsibility to look after these people.
Yes.
In the East.
Yes, that's true.
You remember during the negotiations here at Sun City, you had 3 armed groups. You had the government armed group. You had Bamba's armed group. You had the third one, led by an advocate, which was basically representing the Banyamulenge. It was agreed, it was part of the negotiators, it's Congolese, and no problem.
Yes.
Even after the conclusion of the negotiations, there were discussions about how to integrate them properly into the government of the Congo and all of that.
Yeah.
But that process collapsed somewhere.
Which is unfortunate.
So I'm saying, my brother, what we need to do with regard to the Eastern Congo is President Tshisekedi should say to everybody, I'm president of the Congo, and I'm president of all of the people of the Congo, including the Banyamulenge.
Simple.
And then they just need to do whatever they can, the government in Kinshasa, really to improve its capacity to govern the eastern part of the Congo.
Simple.
And the other thing we then did, my brother, in that context,
right,
we brought together President Kabila and President.
You understand what Thabo Mbeki is saying here in this regard. Very, very, very crucial. Very, very, very important. And if you listen even again to the former president, Nelson Mandela, the late, he spoke of the same. He spoke of the same scenario, that these people in Eastern Rwanda that are now being called the M23, as though they are rebels, these are people that are not recognized by the government of Felix Tshisekedi. And it is the responsibility of the government of DRC to recognize these people. And SADC cannot try to go to war with Rwanda. I saw some people tweeting that we are ready for Kagame, we are ready for Kagame. People need to understand this geopolitics and the history of the politics of what they are wishing for. Because clearly, as much as these people who have been killed, these people of M23 are saying, this is our country. What are you doing in our country? You understand? And the stammering that was happening with the Minister of Defense, Minister Enji Motseha, or at the press conference, saying that these people have been killed by the DRC army and all of that, it does not add up. It does not add up because they were not really clear about what is going on. But anyway, let's see how things are going to unfold in the future. But I'm telling you, this issue needs DRC to just act decisively and make sure that these people are part of DRC and they make governments there, you know, give these people ability to rule, you know. This is very, very, very important. But if you're a Congolese, you understand this history, please tell us your thoughts on what is happening in DRC. But my, from where I'm standing from the history that I've read and what I've...
And so long as the central authority in Kinshasa does not regard some of the people in the East as Congolese, so long will the conflict continue. It's not external, it's internal. That problem has to be solved by the government of the Congo.
Yes.
It's critical. The Congolese government must take responsibility to say we are Congolese together.
Discussions on many issues, and we also shared our common view on the resolution of conflicts, not only on our continent, but globally as well. And we agreed that the best way that is tried and tested of resolving conflicts is through dialogue.
Yes.
Through when people sit down and are able to find ways of negotiating. And the conflict that's going on the east of DRC is a conflict that is being processed, that's being addressed by our regional organization, as well as by the AU. and SADC is also involved, as is the East African Community, as is the AU, and all those processes involve dialogue, negotiation, conflict resolution. It involves people who are appointed and chosen to intervene in those dialogues. President Lorenzo of Angola is involved, and the various structures of the AU are also involved.
This issue needs decisive action from the Kinshasa government. This beating about the bush by African leaders is purely irresponsible. They need to tell Tshisekedi that Tshisekedi, recognize these people, kick out the FDLR. They are not needed in DRC. You don't need to empower these people. The negotiation should be happening between the government of DRC to negotiate with these people and hear their grievances for whatever years they've been outside the system of DRC because of Mobutu Sese Seko. Because how Mobutu Sese Seko benefited from the conflict from these Banyamulenge, it was because having militant groups create confusion. And in the confusion, it creates warlords. And warlords, how do they fund the war? Because remember, war is very, very expensive. And funding the war, then you attract external forces that come and loot resources in that part of Congo. And those loot are not accounted for. You are just empowering those militant groups to be more. Because you see those people, they'll be having new guns, new machinery. Where are they getting the money from? It's because there is method in the confusion. And that is what the government of Congo needs to take responsibility on that. If you're a Congolese or you are a Rwandese, please tell us what you think in the comments. We are going to be talking about this. We are going to be watching and following this situation and see what is needed and how the extraordinary summit is going to deliberate on and what they are going to resolve. But this is, for me, it's cut and dry. They need to make sure that they tell Felix Tshisekedi to say, please recognize these people, negotiate, call the leader of M23, negotiate. We want you to be part of Congo. How can we support you? How can you be part of this government? How can you be part? Because the continuum of confusion is the continuum of displacement of people of Congo, and is the continual looting of resources of Congo, one of the most richest country in the world. That is all that I have for you, Ma Africa Mahle. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful show, and I'll see you in the evening when we dissect on the issues that are happening. But we are monitoring the situation that is going on in Rwanda to find out what is going on and how is SADC going to resolve this one, because SADC cannot go to war with Rwanda because of the unwillingness of the government of DRC to recognize the people of M23. That being said, thank you, Zek, for that. Thank you for that. We really appreciate that, because some people, they don't know. They just jump into the big wagon and say, let's destroy Paul Kagame. For what? Paul Kagame is defending his country. The country, when he got into Rwanda, the Rwanda was gone. And it was because of people that were killing fellow citizens. And these people that are leading FDLR, they are hell-bent to make sure that they see the back of Paul Kagame, and they're vilifying him, saying that he's being used by the West and all of that. Paul Kagame is trying to stabilize his country. Hence, his decisiveness has taken his country to where it is. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful program. I'll see you on the evening when we talk about another developing story that we'll be looking at. Ciao, ciao, and goodbye for now.